In many cases, a user will already be logged into your application.
And before you let them do something risky, such as updating a password or changing an email address, you want to double check that the user is still the same person who originally logged in. Usually, the only way to achieve this is to end the user's session and force them to log in again, or maybe challenge them with an SMS code. But this, of course, adds a lot of friction to the end user's experience. Let's see how Forder can take the friction out of this experience while also ensuring that the user's session has not been hijacked. Let's pretend that the end user is Leah Organa. Leah is going to log into the Summit Gear web application to update the email address in her profile. Leah has logged in fine, and for the purposes of this demo, we'll assume that the Summit Gear web application did not call Forder during the login process. However, Summit Gear is going to call Forder when Leah attempts to update her profile. In this case, Forder has rendered an approve recommendation. What happened here on the back end is that the Summit Gear web application sent the user context to Forder, and Forder used its patented machine learning algorithm against its database of more than 1 billion identities to conclude that it is indeed Leah who is still logged in. Let's see what that transaction looks like in the Forder portal. We can see the details of the transaction, and we can see Forder's approve decision. Now let's take a look at what happens when a hacker attempts to edit Leah's profile with a token or cookie that they have stolen from Leah. Again, Leah logs in successfully. But at some point, Leah's session ID or access token gets stolen. Now, a hacker has possession of Leah's token and is going to try to update her profile and drain her loyalty points. This time, when Summit Gear sends the user context to Forder, Forder will detect that the user context has changed significantly and issue a decline recommendation. Again, let's go to the Forder portal to see what that decision looks like. I can see the transaction here in the Forder portal, and I can see the decline decision. In the real world, Forder would attach a reason to its decision, and you would be able to filter on these decision reasons and create reports as well. Finally, if you are using MFA today, you can use Forder in concert with MFA. So instead of declining an action outright, you can issue a second factor challenge to the end user. Forder's precision will ensure that only a tiny percentage of valid users get challenged for a second factor, greatly reducing the user friction you might have in place today. I hope these examples have given you a better idea as to how Forder can be a powerful tool in preventing attacks against your end users while also reducing user friction.